There is something different about you. You have always known it. Not in a loud way, not in a way you could explain. Just a quiet knowing, a distance between you and the room, a stillness inside you that others find unsettling. You are not like them, and this speech is for you. If this already feels like something you needed to hear, subscribe right now. Calm, no pressure. Just know. More of this is waiting for you. Let's begin. Sign 1. You think before you feel. Most people do not do this. Most people react. Something happens. They explode. They collapse. They perform. But you pause. You sit with it. You turn it over in your hands like a stone. You look at all the sides before you decide what it means. This is not coldness. This is not distance. This is not a wound you develop to protect yourself. This is intelligence. Emotional intelligence of a very specific kind. The kind that does not get enough credit. The kind that makes people call you too calm or too quiet, or hard to read, as if being unreadable is a flaw, as if your stillness is a problem that needs solving. It is not. Your stillness is your power. Your pause is your protection. The world is full of women who gave too much too fast to people who had not yet earned it. They opened before they were ready. They trusted before they were certain. They felt everything first and thought about it later, usually alone, in the dark, wondering how they got there. You are not that woman. You are the woman who watches first, who listens before she speaks, who decides before she moves. And because of that, you have a different relationship with regret. Less of it, deeper understanding of it when it comes. You carry it differently. Because you knew what you were walking into. You chose it with open eyes. That is rare. Most people are sleepwalking. You are wide awake, and there is a loneliness in that. I won't pretend there isn't. There is a specific kind of loneliness that comes from being awake, in a room full of sleeping people. You try to have the conversation, the real one, the one underneath the surface, and they look at you like you are speaking a language they do not have words for. So you stop trying. You go quiet. You decide that depth is something you carry alone. But here is what I need you to understand. The right people will meet you there. Not many, but they exist. And they are also out there right now, sitting in their own silence, wondering if anyone else feels this way. You are not alone. You are just early. Sign 2. You do not need noise to feel alive. This one separates you from almost everyone around you. We live in a world that is addicted to stimulation, constant input, constant noise, constant movement. People fill every silence with something, music, scrolling, talking, anything to avoid the quiet. Because in the quiet, you have to meet yourself, and most people are terrified of who they will find. But not you. You seek the quiet. You need it. Not just as rest, as fuel. Something happens to you in silence that does not happen in crowds. You hear yourself more clearly. You make better decisions. You understand what you actually want versus what everyone else has been telling you to want. This is not introversion as a personality type. This is sovereignty. It is the ability to be your own source, to not require external validation to feel that you exist. Most people, and I mean this without judgment, most people only feel real when someone is watching. When someone is responding, when someone is reflecting back who they are. Remove the audience and they dissolve. But you are the same whether anyone is watching or not. You know who you are in an empty room. Do you understand how rare that is? Do you understand how attractive that is? Not attractive in the way that is performed for attention. Attractive in the way that pulls people in slowly, without you doing anything at all. There is a gravity to a woman who does not need you. There is a mystery to a woman who is full from within. People sense it before they understand it. They want to be near it. They want to understand it. They want to earn it. That is the woman you are. That is not something you learned from a video. That is not something you can perform your way into. It is who you actually are. And I want you to stop apologizing for it. Stop calling yourself antisocial. Stop explaining your need for space as if it is a problem that requires an apology. Stop shrinking the quietest, most powerful part of you, so that louder people feel more comfortable. Your silence is not absence. Your silence is presence. A different kind, a deeper kind. Let it stand. Before I continue, if you have made it this far in this speech, you already know this is not for everyone. Subscribe, because this is the kind of content most channels are too afraid to make. Slow, deep, honest. No performance, just truth. Subscribe and stay. Sign 3. You have outgrown people without knowing how to grieve it. This one is the most uncomfortable. This one sits the heaviest. Because no one tells you that growth comes with a particular kind of loss. Not the dramatic loss. Not the betrayal or the explosion. The quiet loss. The slow separation. The moment you realize that someone who used to feel like home now feels like a place you used to live. You didn't do anything wrong, neither did they. You simply grew, and they did not grow in the same direction, or at the same speed, or at all. And you are sitting there now, trying to hold on to something that no longer holds the same shape, trying to force a connection that has become a performance, going through the motions, having the surface conversations, laughing at the right moments, and then going home and feeling more alone than you did before you went. That is a sign, a very clear one, that you are not operating on the same frequency anymore. And here is the uncomfortable truth. I need you to sit with. You cannot grow and stay the same. You cannot evolve and remain comfortable to people who have not evolved. Your expansion will feel threatening to them, not because they hate you, but because your growth is a mirror, and some people cannot handle their own reflection. So they will call you arrogant. They will say you changed, as if change is a betrayal, as if becoming more yourself is a wound you inflicted on them. And maybe for a while, you let that stop you. Maybe you slowed down, made yourself smaller, laughed a little louder, dimmed something so they could stay. I understand why. Because loneliness is real, and the fear of being alone can make you betray yourself in very quiet ways. But there is a loneliness that is worse than solitude. The loneliness of being surrounded by people who do not see you. The loneliness of performing a version of yourself that was never the real one. The loneliness of being full of something, depth, vision, understanding, and having no one to pour it into. That loneliness hollows you out from the inside. It is slow, it is invisible, and it is far more dangerous than any empty room. So what do? You grieve it properly. You do not pretend it doesn't hurt. It does. Outgrowing people is one of the quietest griefs a woman can carry. It does not get the sympathy it deserves. There are no rituals for it, no ceremonies. No one checks on you when you quietly move on from a friendship that stopped feeding you. But you feel it, and you should feel it. Let yourself feel it, and then release. Not with anger, not with a performance of closure, just a quiet private release. A soft goodbye that no one else may ever know about. And then you turn forward, toward the version of your life that is actually waiting for you, toward the people who are already at the level you are growing toward. They exist, the ones who meet you in the depth, the ones who do not need you to slow down, the ones who will run with you, quietly, seriously, and without requiring you to explain yourself. They are coming. But only if you stop blocking the door with people you have already outgrown. Now let me tie this together. Because these 3 signs, thinking before you feel, not needing noise to feel alive, and outgrowing people without knowing how to grieve it, these are not flaws. They are not wounds. They are not traits you developed because something went wrong. They are the marks of a woman who is built differently. And built differently is not easier. Let me be very honest with you. It is harder. It is harder to be awake in a sleeping world. It is harder to carry depth in a shallow culture. It is harder to choose growth when growth means loss. No one will hand you a prize for this. Most people will not even understand it. Some will resent it. Some will try to reduce you to something they can more easily categorize. Let them. You do not owe anyone a simpler version of yourself. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You do not owe anyone the performance of being less so that they can feel comfortable. Your only job, your only real job, is to become more fully yourself, not louder, not more impressive, not more palatable, more honest, more grounded, more still in the places where the world wants you anxious, more open in the places where fear wants you closed. That is the work. And it is slow work. It does not happen in a weekend. It does not happen with a single decision. It happens in all the small, invisible moments where you choose truth over comfort, where you choose silence over noise, where you choose yourself over the performance of yourself, over and over, quietly, without applause, without an audience. That is who you are, and that is who you are becoming. There is something I want to leave you with. Most women who are mentally different spend years trying to fit in. They study the room. They study what is expected. They compress themselves into the available space, and somewhere in that compression, they lose the thread back to themselves, the thread back to the quiet, knowing that they are different, that they are built for something the average life cannot contain. If you have lost that thread, this is how you find it again. You stop performing, you stop explaining, you go quiet and you listen for the thing inside you that has never stopped speaking. Even when you stopped listening, it is still there. It has always been there, waiting, not impatiently, not with judgment, just waiting, the way something real always waits, because it knows it does not need to chase you. It knows you will come back. You always come back, because this is who you are, not who you are trying to become, who you already are. If this reached you, not entertained you, not motivated you in a surface way, but actually reached something in you that is real, subscribe. Right now. Because there is more of this here, more truth, more depth, more content built specifically for the woman who is done with noise and ready for something real. Subscribe and come back. You belong here.